in the majority of the boats today, you have hydraulic power steering.
Yep.
No? Hydraulic power steering. If you have a small boat, you have this situation. Come on with me. Okay, guys. Down like this. If you have a small boat, look, this is the situation. You have the hand, you have a starboard side, and you have port side. Starboard side, port side, and this is the pump. This is a hand pump, no, Danny? This pump produces 35 psi. 30, 35. You put the oil here.
That's the reservoir, right?
That's the reservoir with the pump integrated. You don't need reservoir.
You don't need a reservoir, right?
In this situation,
Yeah.
you added the oil over there, and also when you move in both directions, you bleed the air. In the next class, Mr. Rodriguez explained the procedure to bleed
much do you
in
fill
a
it
simple
up?
way. Excuse me?
How much do you fill it up?
Until it reaches to the threads, right to the threads. So here's the deal. When we do the bleeding, I'm going to show you the way before they had the pumps they have today, and then I'm going to show you how to do it the way with the pumps they have today. That pump, the kit's like
In two different ways.
$600.
That one doesn't have a return, right?
Yeah.
That one has no return. That pump?
No, in this moment, no
Because it's
return,
integrated, right?
because we don't have extra reservoir. In this moment, it's port side and starboard side, no return. The most simple connection,
setup.
no, Danny?
Yeah, only when you have a second station you have a return.
Okay, now in the other one, we are going to demonstrate how can you integrate the external reservoir. The external reservoir is good because in this moment you know what is the level of oil,
No.
you know if the color of the oil is milky,
No.
you know if the oil is contaminated,
No.
you know the pressure of the system, you don't know nothing. You are like this in this system. You put a little amount of oil and it's moving, that's it.
Yeah.
What happens if it's hard in one direction and soft in the other one? Danny?
More like a check valve inside the
Air, no?
pump, the air.
Air.
Well, usually the air, usually when there's air in the system, you go like this, and the motor doesn't move. But if you do big swings, the motor will move. There's air in the system.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
and you need bleed the system. That's the class with Danny later.
Yeah, we do is like when we bleed the systems out, we check that, and then also someone goes behind the motor and pushes the motor around.
There should be no play.
Very, very, very,
A little.
very, very
A
little.
little. In other words, this is a hydraulic system. For a hydraulic system, you need the pump, the reservoir, the hydraulic lines, and the actuator. That's it. Actuator, hydraulic lines, and the pump. In this particular case, the pump and the reservoir are integrated. And this pump is manual pump. You have other type of pumps, electrical pumps, but this is the most simple. This is, for example, a dinghy boat, no?
Yeah.
The hand, the lines, and the actuator. But you are like this because you don't know if the oil is good, if the level is appropriate, if the color is good, no? Now we are going to introduce in the other one, in this system, we are going to cut the lines and we are going to insert the reservoir. In other words, we are going to pass the fluid through the reservoir and after that continue into the cylinder. And we are going to check what is the advantage when I introduce in this system the reservoir. What do you think? Give me advantage about the reservoir, the external reservoir.
You can see the fluid. The
You can
level.
see because they have windows, the color of the fluid.
Yeah, the color.
You can see the level of the
And
fluid.
the level. And you can have you have in
pressure
the
gauge?
reservoir a gauge.
Little pressure.
Air.
And you can pressurize the system
Yeah.
and verify the it's nice.
Yeah,
It's nice because you open the hatch and you see, oh, okay, 25 psi and the level is on the limit. Okay, I have fluid, no problem.
You know?
Can I install Autopilot in any type of boat? Yes. Yes, you can. And
It's hydraulic.
correct. Especially if it's hydraulic, it's easy. All right. Now we are going to check in the other side. We introduce the reservoir and we introduce the servo cylinder, and we are going to check how it works. All right. In this moment, the car is up. No. Can you move the wheel in any of those cars?
No. Yeah.
You can, but it's
Hard.
it's hard. No. But you can switch, yes, you can, but it's,
Hard.
what happened immediately you start the engine?
Power steering.
Oh, wow, it's to,
Easy.
because you introduce extra power in the fluid. Extra power. Oh, nice. It's because as soon as the engine starts, you have an hydraulic pump that is connected with the valve and the crankshaft, and that pump introduces fluid at high pressure in the steering system. And right now, oh, nice, it's too soft. It's clear, my friends?
Yeah.
Look at this. When you start the engine, you remember that pump in your car?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's connected with the valve and the crankshaft.
Power steering.
And this one is connected to port and starboard on the actuator. Port and starboard. You see?
Oh.
Ah, as soon as you start that pump, look at the reservoir. The reservoir is here and the pump is here. It's integrated. Immediately the engine starts, you have fluid at high pressure because this pump introduces 60 psi.
Is that like a rotary pump?
That pump internally is a gear pump.
Or gear
It's
pump?
a gear.
Here, Joe, just like your old.
A gear pump. It's all. Okay.
One thing before you go in. So
Yeah, no,
let me
that's
ask you a question. Like on a C-ray, everybody knows what a C-ray is, right? The boat C-ray.
Yeah.
It has an IO system. Now, is the power steering pump what turns the motor?
No.
What turns the motor?
Like, what turns the motor?
Not the motor, the prop. Sorry, not the drive.
Oh, it's a ram, right? You're talking about the steering for the
There's a
IO.
ram in the back, but what
Yeah.
controls the ram?
The steering.
The cable. Most C-rays, like IOs, have cables in it. The power steering pump's only purpose is to assist the cable. So because you could have hard steering and that pump's working properly, it's because the steering cable in the tube that goes into the ram is frozen binding up with salt.
Oh, so it's like a
So it's cable.
It's cable
Normally
with
a rack and
hydraulic fluid?
pinion, which you guys will learn more in systems. It has a rack and pinion. It's a cable that feeds into a ram on the transom assembly, which controls the drive in the back. So what happens? You have a cable that feeds there, but just like you said, when it's not running, it's hard. All this does is assist. It's a power. It's a power steering. So here's your ram in the back. If you notice, there's a cable that goes through here and locks into here. So your power steering pump assembly on your motor gives power to here. So when you turn the wheel, it automatically knows it's going in a direction and it assists it. That's all it is a power steering assist. Okay? It's not like on an outboard that actually has a power steering pump that moves fluid because you have no cables. So when stern drives, it comes like this. Inboards is different. Inboards actually use a ram just like the outboards.
So that cable runs all the way back to the transom.
From into the boat, so from the steering wheel to the side of the boat into this ram. And then your hoses that you just saw, right. So as soon as you run the engine, you got power. So as soon as you start moving the fluid, it automatically helps you. It's all it is an assist. I just want you to know that because
So that's like, what's that? That cable is like a Teleflex?
yeah, it's like Teleflex cable. You have Teleflex, U-Flex, depending on what manufacturer you use it. But most, like the most C-rays are rack and pinion. And you'll understand that more right. You have rotary, which is like the round, and you have the rack and pinion is just so big, like a long strip that has gears, so it moves. But that's that. I just want you to understand. On the inboards, you have power steering pumps. On inboards, you don't have power steering.
You remember that one?
yeah.
And we have two lines, starboard and port, starboard and port. We cut it, and we insert this element. What is this? The reservoir. Now I have windows to check the level of fluid. With the windows I can check the color, the level, and now I have
Pressure.
gauge. And now I can introduce here with the pump of your bicycle.
And do not use your air compressor.
No.
Blow it out.
No, with the, because with the compressor you introduce 60, 80, and you explode, all right?
Yeah.
With the bicycle. For that reason, in the majority of the boats in the transom, they have the pump, the hand pump over there. What is the pressure recommended? 30, 35?
It's like 25 to 30 psi.
25 to 30, all right? Depend on the manufacturer, but normally it's, you see, I have 25, 30, it's okay. All right, the pressure on the system. Pay attention with this. The people say, Mr. Lopez, I am confused because you said over there in the other building that in some cases it's hard because you have bubbles in the system. And now you introduce air here. Look, this area, this compartment is air. Each time that the fluid passes for the pump, the lines, and enter here, the air goes up and is accumulated here.
It's almost like an expansion tank.
It's like an expansion tank. And you have this section, for that reason they say maximum oil until this point, until the middle of the second window. Because you need that space for air. When the air moves on the system and goes over there, the air is accumulated over there. The air no continue with the fluid mixed. It's here.
With the reservoir, you don't really have to bleed, right?
You can bleed here at the reservoir.
At the
Bleed at the
reservoir.
reservoir.
Yeah, you can bleed
It just
at the
goes-
reservoir.
all the air just starts flowing up.
Correct. This is part of the other class with Danny. That's the reservoir. Okay, good.
So you need the air in there. So
Yeah.
in other
Yeah,
words,
you
that's
need.
what it is. So
This is the
you don't
air.
want to bleed it all out.
On this, anyway, just to explain, you know when you have your, you fill up your radiators full, but then you have the little reservoir,
Yeah.
it's only filled up to a certain point because it expands. They call it an expansion tank. Okay.
That's the name, expansion tank.
And that's really what it is. It's an expansion tank, but with pressure to help it.
You said you can bleed them at the actuator or
Or
the
here.
It, like, let's say you don't have to do it both though, right? No.
No.
Just from.
Or here, you can bleed here also. Okay, now the other direction. Okay, ready. No, Danny?
And then after you bleed, you have to repressure with the hand pump.
In some cases, yes.
Well, you might have to even, you may bleed it out so much you have to add pressure to keep bleeding.
And additionally added fluid, because you send fluid when you bleed the oil here. You bleed. The air is going with the fluid. You remember what is the name of that hydraulic pump? Power Assisted Unit, or PTO. Okay, in marine applications, we have one of this pump in each engine for different hydraulic purposes. We are going to talk later about that. Okay, quickly, function of the reservoir. One function. Check the level. The second one, the pressure, and the color. That's the function.
See, without even breaking out a tool, you just did your first visual inspection with your own tools.
All right. Okay, now I have reservoir, and look at this. You remember in the other side, you can move the wheel with your hand, yes, because you have this pump. How much pressure produces that pump? 25 psi, 25, 30 psi. That pump. This is a manual pump, mechanical pump. All right, that's mechanical pump. But in some cases, in big boats with 3 outboards, this is soft only with this pump. You need other power assisted unit. You can use one of those power assisted units from one of the engines, or you can install an electrical power assisted unit like this. This is electrical. Anybody follow?
Yes.
This is electrical. This is a donation of Mr. Rodriguez. That's an electric. You remove that one from the boat.
Yeah, what happens, it was after he would use it for a while, it would blow out the fuse.
Yeah.
So it was more likely a problem with the circuit board. There's sensors in there, so when it detects that it's moving one direction, it just kind of pushes it. For triple engine, twin applications only for the lazy guy doesn't want to, he wants a little bit harder, a little bit softer. But for triple engines, it's hard to move 3 engines at the same time, so the power assist comes in handy.
In that case, you can install that unit like Danny explained, isolated with a special switch. Okay, I'm going to activate that one. Right now it's activated. It's electrical. Immediately I move a little the wheel in one direction or other one, that pump helps in that direction.
You can move it one pinky.
Yeah, I move a little here and that one start and send fluid additional extra. This is a boost pressure. This is an electrical power assisted unit, correct? It's installed, look at this. I cut it here, and I install the reservoir. And now I cut it here, and I insert the power assisted unit electrical. Both of them are in series with the system. And after that, the lines enter in the actuator. Everybody follow? This is in series. Look, in this moment, this No autopilot. No autopilot. I use that one only for extra comfort. Extra. That's it. It's power assisted unit because I have, like Danny says, 4 outboards, and only with that pump is not enough. You need other extra power. Ready?